Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Apologies for a slight delay, and His Royal Highness Rashida ka baap was running late. I'm reminded of Shahenshah dialogue. Rishte mein to hum tumhare baap hote hain. Naam hai Shahenshah. Anyway, so he's trying to do something like that. Abhijit Iyer-Mitra in his new avatar. Abhijit, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Barakatulillah.
We couldn't hear clearly. Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, Barakatulillah.
Okay, what does that mean, my friend?
It means from river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
Well, before we jump into today's session, I just wanted to update our viewers that we are very close to reaching the 100 units that we wanted to get in order to be able to ship Sengols. So if you have not bought your Sengol, please consider doing so right away. Here is a quick video on how to click on that link. Can we have the video, please? This is a simple way to order the Sengol. If you want to buy Sengol, and if you live in the United States, or if you reside in the United States, there is a simple way to do this. All you need to do is, we will put this thing in the comment section right at the top. In addition, if you want to just type it in, all you need to do is you type like this, sreeiyer.com/products/Sengol, and then you will be taken to this site. That's where you can buy the product. All you need to do is to log in, and that way you can give us your shipping address and place the order. We encourage you to buy as many as possible. We need a minimum of 100 as an order to the vendor so that we can even break even on prices. See, this is a request, so please do buy them in quantities. It is beautiful. Like I said before, it is beautiful. It is about a foot long. It's a foot long and half-inch at the end. At its widest, it is 1.5 inches, and it is about a foot long. And you can see here how beautiful, how nice the Nandi looks like on the top. And on the carving here, you can see Shiva as well as you can see the Indian flag. And then there is inscriptions here on what the Sengol really means. So thank you so much again, and we look forward to sending you your own Sengol. Namaskar. Abhijit, Rashida's rant gets censored, and actually 22 Democrats voted with the majority to censor her. And I did a quick rundown on that list. Guess how many were Jewish?
Yes. Batao?
Close to 20 or 21.
So not bad, no?
Not bad. No. This is the silent power. In fact, some Republicans also voted against censoring, 3 of them, or 3 or 4. So it's an interesting mix. Whatever it is, what is going on in their mind? Suddenly there is a feeling I get that the world of Muslim community thinking it is now or never. Why this desperation? Why doing all these outrageous things everywhere?
Look, they think they've got social media on their side and they can amplify things. That's not the way life works. Life doesn't work because of Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. They're trying very hard. It's not succeeding. Because ultimately what succeeds on the ground is leverage on the ground, which they don't have. So best of luck. I mean, if they think this is going to get them somewhere, congratulations to them. It's going to get them diddly squat.
My next question is, Ilhan also has been ranting at Biden. And interestingly, yesterday there was a series of elections and the Democrats actually did better than expected, considering all else. Where do you see this country headed? I know you say that in California especially and US is going to dogs, but the other side is also whipping up a lot of rhetoric, meaning the Republicans. They are saying that if we are elected to power, you will see the biggest extradition ever in the history of mankind.
But look, they've instituted, remember during the midterms also, we thought the Republicans were going to do well. I actually expected the Democrats to do better. And I'm telling you right now, the Democrats will probably win the next election as well. Because they've executed institutional capture. When everything belongs to you except Twitter, Nobody has any chance. It's a rigged election.
Well, we are looking at it from two different ways. You're saying from looking at the capture of the social media, and I'm saying from the capture of the
Not
ballot
just
boxes.
social media, not
So,
just social media. Universities, institutions, the FBI, everything.
true. It is very, very disappointing when you see that even though the evidence is hitting them in the face, the FBI has not moved to, act against people like Ilhan Omar. 5 or 6 counts of serious fraud, marrying one's own brother, committing immigration fraud, committing all sorts of other things. I don't know when they are going to decide to act on this. Anyway, let's now.
Kuch nahi hoga.
Yeah. Well, at least we can point this as an instance and tell FBI and CIA, now you stop meddling in other countries' affairs. When you can't do it within your own country, you don't have a moral right to go and lecture some other country about what kind of a democracy they are having in their own country. At least we can say it. Let's go to the questions. Thanks so much, Abhijit, for that. Let's go to the questions, please. Kanda Batata, happy birthday, my friend. Why did Israel support Azerbaijan and not Armenia?
Look, Israel didn't vocally support anyone, but they did militarily support Azerbaijan because Azerbaijan was willing to buy military equipment. One of the few, the Azeri relationship with Israel is something like almost 30 years old since Azerbaijan got independence. Azerbaijan in those days was one of the few Muslim countries, and this was, mind you, this was before the peace with Jordan and all of that they were willing to have relations with Israel, especially after the war in which they lost what Armenia calls Artsakh and what they call Nagorno-Karabakh. So they have been building up this relationship with Israel for a very long time. And it yielded results. That's it.
Next one, please. Kanda Batata, thank you so much. Abhijit, if you could just greet Kanda on his birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Kanda. May you travel a lot and may you keep sending me images of your travels in lovely business class suites. And try to diversify from Air India. They're getting shittier by the day. Next.
Aditya wants to know, how is Islam able to continue to subdue international peace this long in history? What ensures its invincibility? How did the other monotheistic religions fail to counter Islam?
I didn't understand the question. What, subdue international peace money? It's
essentially
not there was literally no Muslim country except maybe Saudi Arabia that wasn't under colonial rule, no? I don't understand your question.
Now, how is it able to get away with its narrative? I think that's the overall question.
Well, they never had a narrative till about 20, 30 years back.
There's an interesting play going on the ground now, which is, I don't know if you noticed this. The missing Israeli posters, missing people posters were, being toned down by pro-Hamas. I should say pro-Hamas. They are not pro-Palestine. Pro-Hamas people. And now what we are seeing is people come with serious industrial standard rap and they put the poster, then do multiple rap. So it takes a long time to pull it out. And now they're also confronting some of these people and saying, why the hell are you doing this? What is interesting there, you notice, Abhijit, is it is not just Palestinian Americans who are indulging in this. There are many other people also doing that. So that tells you that some brainwashing has taken place, isn't it?
No, it's not brainwashing, it's intersectionality. I mean, you should know this better than me, that this is what intersectionality is all about. The head decides who is friend, who is foe, and then everybody goes after them. I have zero sympathy for Americans in this, because it was entirely the East Coast Jews and the West Coast Jews who were funding and propagating all this wokery. Now it's coming back to bite you in the ass. The worst is that stop anti-Semitism bullshit handle that every bloody idiot Indian keeps retweeting, who's gone after several Hindus in the past as well. The lady's a lump of shit. All these East Coast and West Coast Jews are lumps of shit. They've been subsidizing the worst kind of Hindu phobia, the worst kind of liberal trash. And now it's coming back to bite them. Best of luck to them. I have zero sympathy for them. My sympathy lies with Israel, not with these assholes in America.
Next question, please. Himant957. What are your views on the S-500? Can the 400 and 500 be vulnerable to NATO radar jamming and electronic warfare?
See, here's the issue. The problem with jamming is a jammer is easier to program than a missile. Okay. A missile is a complex system, and every time it emits anything, and America, Israel, France, China, they all have, I mean, Chinese electronic suspect. But most Western countries have these very, very long range electronic sensors where they actually go around, snoop around every time these missiles are being tested. And what happens is the missile on the radar on the missile itself emits certain frequencies to detect the incoming target. Right, the ground-based radar hands the target over to the missile, which then goes and intercepts. And either quite early on and in the terminal phase, especially, it is the radar on the nose of the missile that is doing the searching. Now, what ends up happening in all of this is you have a certain set amount of frequencies, whereas jammers by their very nature keep getting changed. Every time you figure out a new frequency, it gets shifted over to the counter algorithms, which then get programmed into the jammer. So there's only so much that you can do to prevent jamming. After about 2-3 weeks of warfare, everybody knows. And by the way, this is for Western missiles as well. This is why the USSR used to maintain these vast fleets of spy aircraft that used to go do exactly what the Americans do to Russian missiles today, Russian Chinese missiles today. But the USSR gave up on gathering electronic intelligence like this. So where are they going to be collecting the data to program into their counter this thing? So the S-400, 500 will be perfectly fine for the first 2 weeks of any war. After that, either the Israelis or the Americans or the French or whatever will get the radars, and they'll start programming it off loop in half frequency, which will jam this thing. Now, there's another aspect to this, which is, like in water dilution, you have parts per million, ppm. It's like that with radars. If you do GPS jamming, for example, and this is not for anti-aircraft missiles, of course, but this is for, say, ground guidance. Per signal strength, the amount you can attrit or erode that signal strength, that also acts. But now, missiles have terminal jamming, so it doesn't work. Even with GPS bombs, air to ground, that is where this thing works. But even there, you see military grade air to ground precision bombs that are GPS guided, like the JDAM or SPICE, etc. They will have chips which can pick out literally one part of high fidelity satellite signal in 10 million paths of jamming. I'm not, paths is not the correct word, but signal this thing. So jamming overcomes everything ultimately because it's easier to do than it is to develop a totally new missile.
Next question, please. Unemployed wants to know where Abrahamic religions the first to use supremacy of a particular culture instead of a person family for conquest and politics.
No. Where does an Abrahamic religion use culture? They don't. They are about the supremacy of one God, not of a culture. Because even Yahweh was one of the several gods in the Phoenician pantheon. So no. Next.
Next one, please. Om Patel wants to know what will most likely happen to Gaza after the war. Will it be forcibly emptied with a second 𝗖𝙗𝗄?
No. They're dividing it in half. First, they'll sanitize the northern half. Then they'll push the population to the north through filters, of course. And they assume that only all the terrorists will stay back in the south. Then they'll clear out the south. Then they plan to redevelop it, from what I'm hearing. And the redevelopment will be under Israeli security, But the local self-government, it'll be self-government.
There also is a buffer zone talk, isn't it? 5 kilometers in the north and 5 kilometers in the south, 1 kilometer on the
There is
right.
talk of it, but it may not eventuate. One of the very interesting ideas I'm hearing is that they will declare the new elected government, because see, elections haven't been held in the Palestinian areas,
Gaza,
West
yeah.
Bank or Gaza. No, not just Gaza, also West
Oh,
Bank.
yeah, right. Even West Bank, because Mahmoud Abbas thinks he might lose. Yeah.
And there's been no elections since 2006-7, something like that, right? So what they're planning on doing is they'll have elections. They'll ensure that the elections keep happening every 4 years, and they'll claim this is the actual Palestinian Authority. That Palestinian Authority will sign the final agreement with Israel, and then they'll say, screw you to West Bank. They'll make a little Bantustan out of the West Bank, annex what they need to, and that's it. This might actually play out in Israel's favor politically if they play this right. And this is, I'm not saying this. This is what I'm hearing from my friends in Tel Aviv now. It's technically, if you look at it, it's it's a brilliant plan.
Next one, please. Pratik Chand wants to know. Thank you, Pratik. Did you know that Sishupalgarh Fort in Odisha, it is said the outer structure of the fort dates back to 500 BCE. Was it possible to have a structure like that in India still existing from that time period?
Yes, you should never
Ashoka's pillar?
assume that
Yeah.
Ashoka's pillar?
Yeah, Ashoka's pillar. Ashoka has a pillar. I think
What does
it's
that have to do
Sarnath
with
or
the
someplace like that. The
What does
inscriptions
that
are
have to do
in
with-
Brahmi. Yeah.
What does that have to do with the fort?
No. He's asking about structure that is still existing from that time period.
Oh, that's not 500. No, that's about 200 BC.
300 BC. 300 BC. Ashoka was in 300 BC.
260 BC.
Over, 2,300 years or something like that.
260 to 230 BC.
Okay, so close enough.
So,
I mean,
no, it's 500 BC is way ahead. It's possible for it to be there, but you should never discount the fact that things can happen before people thought they could happen. And fortifications, for example, would have been very. You can have very sophisticated fortifications without, even in very primitive places. So I won't particularly be surprised if it dates back to about 500 BC, because remember, Odisha was already at a civilizational toe-to-toe with Magadha. Magadha's own republic as a Janapada, own history as a Janapada, goes back to 600-700 BC, at which time there was great civic wealth, there was great amount of public goods being done, and Odisha was toe-to-toe with Magadha at that point. Remember, ultimately, 500 BC is bang in the middle of the Janapada period, or towards the end of the Janapada period. Why wouldn't Odisha have had that kind of thing? So I'm not surprised at all.
Pratik, the Madurai temple, Meenakshi Sundareswara temple, the Sundareswar itself, the Vigraha, is 3,000 years old. 3,000 years old. So it is possible to have things that are really, really, really old. Next one, please. Maliban Bhattacharya wants to know, how similar are the ancient Egyptian gods like Ra and Sumerian gods like Gilgamesh and Greek pantheons like Zeus with the Hindu counterparts? Your views on the purpose of tactical... just that part. Let's stop there.
Okay, I'm not answering the second part of the question. We
Yeah.
decided one question per this thing, no?
Yeah.
How similar are Ra and Sumerian gods? All ancient gods have some very similar functions. Rain, they're all nature gods. Okay, they're all Stone Age gods repurposed to the Bronze Age, and almost the entire world, including India, has a change of gods into the somewhere early into the Iron Age, sometimes late into the Iron Age. Remember, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati. Well, Saraswati, the name was worshipped in the Vedas, but Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva were not the primary deities. They were Vedic deities. The rituals were what we do in our homas and things, but we have superimposed an Iron Age layer onto a Bronze Age religion. Those religions, similarly, were basically Stone Age religions, which were refined to the Bronze Age, and they all had something similar: rebirth. Okay, the power of rebirth belonging to someone. Thunder, lightning, rain, wind, love. Okay, every single religion, Bronze Age religion, had something or the other to do with this. Fertility. Okay, every religion had this. A lot of them have very similar themes. Like, so for example, virgin birth. Virgin birth is not a Christian thing. Virgin birth is absolutely not a Christian thing. The Immaculate Conception is a vastly pre-Christian thing. It was meant to convey a sense of wonderment. So there has been always, in all these religions, and this is why you did not have religious conflict in the Bronze Age or the early Iron Age, because everywhere they went, they would be like, oh yeah, this is similar. This is one avatar of our god this, and this is one avatar of our god that, and they would, hum idhar bhi poojenge, udhar bhi poojenge.
Next one, please. Himant 957. Is it possible to diversify your economy without being an industrialized country?
You can. The issue then is how good is your diversification, because it's still going to be very low income, no? See, what industrialization does isn't just that it makes your entire thing more high income. What it also does, it enforces a certain discipline, certain kinds of regulatory mechanisms, problem solving mechanisms, workforce discipline, etc., on your workforce. If you bypass that, you're always going to remain a sort of low income economy. You can be diversified, but you'll be low income.
Next one, please. Chaitanya Takle wants to know, wasn't it easy for Mahua Moitra to get Hiranandani's question on WhatsApp and then post them from her own phone?
You know, sometimes when you see a crime happen, Chaitanya, you always wonder, what was this idiot thinking? I mean, why didn't he do it this way? The whole point is people think they are immune. Look, the government would have by itself never investigated this, right? Had Jayanand 𝗜𝙧𝙤 not come forward and made all these claims and also taken it to the right MP, they would have taken it to any MP and nothing would have happened. It's only because they took it to Nishikant Dubey that things started moving, because Nishikant Dubey is pretty much, he does what the PMO tells him to do. So it's just one of those things where hubris, the sense of impunity, and she must have thought ki WhatsApp I will get intercepted, but here I can't get intercepted. So as look at it from her point of view, she was actually thinking that she was smart. She's a member of the IT committee, you know that, right? Surprise, surprise. She actually sits on the IT committee of Parliament. But hey, it shows you what kind of brains go into our IT committees.
But I thought through your tweets you are being very respectful to Madam Mahua Moitra.
See, I completely oppose this genocidal government's fascist attempts at silencing Honorable Sushri Mahua Moitra ji. Anybody who's heard her knows that when she talks, it is like Durga raising up her khorgo to attack Mahishasura itself. So she is a Sakshat Durga upon earth. She is fighting corruption and she's fighting for justice and liberty and against the forces of fascism in this country, which is why the government is so scared. They want to destroy her. And they took her one mistake and they turned it against her. She is in New York. She is written in the New York Times, boss. Have you written in the New York Times?
I don't want to.
You should be respectful of those who write in the New York Times.
You know what? Your view of New York Times and mine are probably not the same. And let's move on.
Yes.
Mr. Lee wants to know, he said of Orientalism fame was critical of Huntington's thesis of civilizational clashes. Where do Indians stand on this Oriental framework?
Indians are confused. I'm telling you, the moment the West accepts us, we'll dump all our identity, belief, whatever, and turn. You look at 90% of Indians in the West. The second generation integrates completely. They want nothing more to do with their own culture. And this is the thing about Indians. We integrate wherever we go. The previous generations don't. So the generations that went to Fiji, that went to South Africa, that went to Guyana, didn't. And there is a belief that they did not integrate because the natives were darker than they were. But with whites, they integrate. The whites may have an issue with them, but they don't have an issue with the whites. So in this entire framework of Oriental, I think Indians and Hindus specifically are the most confused of the bunch. On one hand, we have the strongest identity, but we're not even sure if it's an Eastern identity. We're more confused than the Russians are, in my opinion, about being either Oriental or being European.
Next one, please. Abhay Agarwal wants to know, do you think that feminism is now being used by many women to avoid responsibility for their wrong personal choices and blame it all on men, patriarchal society, etc.?
Yeah, this is what intersectionality is all about. It takes every community that's not doing well or can't, any identity, it's not just community, it's any identity that isn't doing well, and blame extraneous circumstances for what went wrong. Basically, why it is so seductive is that it teaches you to avoid personal responsibility. It's basically ensuring that most of us learn responsibility after puberty. Have you noticed intersectionality wants to give you puberty blockers as well? Why? Because they want to prolong your childishness and they indoctrinate you into mental childishness, which is not to take responsibility for your choices and actions. So that's exactly what it is, which is why the same feminists will support puberty blockers for kids.
Next one, please. Abhishek wants to know, what's up Ilhan Omar's sleeve against Indian government now?
Nothing. She's just a rabble-rouser. That's it.
Next one, please. Thank you, Prakhyat Kumar. In my opinion, laws should be a concise and precisely, be firm and steady, C, be relatively easy to understand. Widely available by way of publication, none of our laws satisfy these criteria. So what should be done according to you to remedy the problem?
Prakhyat, I've spoken about this several times. I've spoken about how we were drafting the information and broadcast regulation laws, and I've made all these points long before. I'm not going to keep repeating myself.
Next one, please. Thank you, Satyabrata Mohanty. Your view on AK-203 production being delayed. 7.62 mm bullet issues with Indian-made bullets going for INSA's modified Excalibur 5.5.
I don't get into micro details of small arms ever, but I'm not surprised that production is delayed. Somebody, I think 2 programs back on PGurus had said, production has already started. Then they say it's delayed. So I never know when to keep up. I will only believe all this nonsense when I see the first Indian manufactured AK-203. I don't care if production is begun or delayed. I'll believe it when I see it in the hands of somebody. Okay? As for the rest of it, I've told you before, I don't get into micro details of all these things.
Thank you, Pius Gokhale. You support presidential, semi-presidential democracy for India?
No, I don't. It's not going to solve any of our problems. You think that somehow being presidential, semi-presidential will solve our problems. It won't solve our problems. Our problems don't lie in the type of government. They lie in the fact that you have extremely low statistical abilities to gather, extremely low analytical abilities to process non-existent statistics, and extremely poor fidelity in policy delivery thereof. Having a president or a presidential or a semi-presidential form of government is not going to change that.
Next one, please. Mr. Bharani wants to know, what's your idea on linking rivers in India? Do you think it's a feasible idea economically? And the change
it's an extremely dangerous idea. And you know, this whole thing about linking rivers, it comes from the belief that rivers exist only to feed human beings. They don't. They're complete organic ecosystems in their own right. It's like saying, sir, all your nerves, you see, why should the hand nerves go here and the right hand nerves go here? Shouldn't we do surgery to connect all of them with your bum nerves and your leg nerves and things like that? That is not how they work. They are not here to service you. Please understand that. They serve a crucial ecological purpose, and there is a whole ecosystem that depends on them. You have no idea the kind of damage this linking of waters will cause, because waters take nutrients from upstream, downstream. Each one of them have unique ecosystems. You don't even know the kind of predators or parasites, etc., that you might release into, say, gangetic dolphins, which won't exist in some other rivers. Or if those gangetic dolphins find grounds to go to other rivers and start completely destroy a local ecosystem out there. You can't do this shit. So please don't ever ask me this question again. This is one of the most harebrained, stupid 19th century ideas that I've ever come across. It violates every principle of ecological management that we know today. In fact, even our ancestors never thought about this kind of crap. They advised against it.
Next one, please. Real Cricket wants to know, do you know James Corbett and have watched the Boys series?
No.
Next one, please. Thank you, Black Mountainside. What stops India from adding DOP-like status to FUD to serve as FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt, to serve as means of value addition?
So Black Mountain, we've discussed this long back. How many times have I told you, Sree, that we need DOP, DOCG, all these kinds of denomination control things for food items? It's not just saffron. It's it's things like mutton, goat, Indian goat. It's things like different kinds of Indian rice. Chilies. Do you know something most basic? I want to take you to Amazon. And let me share my screen here, shall I?
Sure.
1 second. Let me just go to amazon.in and I want to show you this. Now, let me share this because I want to see you. I want you all to see me search for this. Okay? Can you see?
Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah.
Okay, by the way, I've ordered this burqa, so I expect to come in this burqa soon. I've ordered the blue one and I've also ordered the green one. So yeah, so you'll all hopefully see me in this the next time. I think I should add. Do you think I should add this also?
I don't know, my man. I mean, what's wrong with what you're wearing right now?
No. I think we should be, inclusive. I think we're very patriarchal. Now, you see this. This says Mathania red chili. Can you see these? All of these. I want you to see the photos on all of these. Is this sharing?
Yeah.
Can you see the this thing?
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, no, it's gone onto. It's opened onto another screen now.
Oh, you're trying to zoom it. Okay, got it.
Okay. Can you see these? These are actually crinkly chilies.
Yeah.
Okay. These are not Mathania chilies. See, these ones that are not crinkly, they are actually the Mathania chilies. This is not a Mathania chili. This is a Mathania chili. So now in the same thing, I'm actually going to, and Mathania chili is absolutely crucial for lal mas and this thing. See this, it is not crinkly. A true Mathania chili is a varietal that is not crinkly at all. It's a smooth chili like this. And yet, people will actually sell you crap on the internet claiming this is what it is. There is zero consumer protection. And there is zero value add for the farmer as well, because any farmer can sell his chili off as Mathania chili and you won't know better. So the premium due to a Mathania chili for, say, lal mas or jungli mas, you will not get. Even a simple Marwadi lasan lal mirch ki chutney requires that particular this thing. You will not get it. So there's no quality control, no nothing. I've been advocating for this because this is very important for our farmers. Okay, something as simple as Chiniguda rice, Chiniguda and Gobindo Bhog are better than, they're much more intense than basmati. In fact, what is sold today in the south as Siraga Samba, the premium Siraga Samba, actually is Chiniguda from Bird One. Siraga Samba is not grown in Tamil Nadu, it is not grown in Kerala. It is very important for Kerala Malabar biryani and Ambur star biryani, but the really good quality rice actually comes from Bird One. It is something called 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙪. This is the rice that I have found. It's still not a patch on Bangladeshi rice, but 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙪. This is the one. Let me share it. Let me just find it 1 second. Okay. So this is the rice. See, it's called ghee rice, biryani rice, whatever, bismi gold. You know gold because it should be brown in color, golden in color, because it is this thing, parboiled. But you look at this. What does it say? Bulchandrapur, Painta, Burdwan district in Bengal, Bardhaman district. Okay, marriage hotel special. But these things, it is cheating the consumer. 99% of, if you buy it on Amazon, will not be Gobindo Bhog. You will never get the proper taste of what you should be getting ever. So it is important for our farmers. It is important for value crops. It is important to educate the public about this because that also brings lots of value to the farmer. वो सब इधर कुछ नहीं करता है. Next
one, please. Thank you, Sandeep. What is your view on CK Raju claims about Western maths? Did Newton reuse calculus from Kerala Calculus School without quoting references?
I don't know, Sandeep. I'm sorry. You're asking the wrong person about science and maths. I'm a humanities student. I'm BCom, gastronomy and humanities.
Sharvin Shelke, thank you so much. India versus Pakistan bilateral series played in Taiwan. How would it turn out diplomatically for both India and Pakistan?
Is it being played?
I don't know. Looks like cricket.
Is it?
I don't know. Why would they go and play in Taiwan though?
Yeah. What is
it?
Ajkal,
what is this newly found specialty about writing about cricket in your tweets?
Yeah, see, I'm a cricket expert. People don't realize this, but I'm a very serious cricket expert.
So were you a bowler or a batsman when you were growing up?
I was neither. I was a born commentator.
Aviral, thank you so much. Rashid's dad, do you think US will be able to interfere with Bangladesh elections and how will it impact India? Bengali speaking Pakistan to our east?
So let me give you a slightly unconventional view. You know, I've not been very happy with the Indian government's policy of allowing Khaleda Zia, even for Khaleda Zia's own good, Sheikh Hasina's own good, to be seen to be without an opposition. Because when you remove one kind of opposition, even if it's virulently anti-India, what happens is it moves even further extreme. And now it has become the 𝙒𝙤𝙤 Islami, which is viciously anti-India, much more so. Khaleda Zia wasn't this thing, but this one is like next level. Okay. And the person behind them is the military, because the military is also fed up of not having options. It's a very stupid way we played the game. We've repeated the same mistake where we allowed Mujibur Rahman to declare Bangladesh a one-party state. And by the way, Mujibur Rahman wasn't a very nice guy. Huh? He threw and executed a lot of his opponents, political opponents, in jail and had them executed and things. We're doing the same thing. Repeat of the same mistake. You'd reckon that making that mistake once, you would learn not to make it again. We have. Maybe we tried and we couldn't convince Sheikh Hasina otherwise. But anyway, the point is, it's a problem that ends with us. Now, is America accelerating the process? Yes. Will they be able to interfere with Bangladesh? They will be able to interfere very well with Bangladesh. Bangladesh is not as sophisticated in how it handles things. As well, it's not sophisticated. India is also not sophisticated. I used the wrong word. Sorry. India, in spite of all our governmental incompetence and klutziness, is too diverse for America to be able to interfere meaningfully. Bangladesh is completely homogenized. Interference will work. So will it turn into a Bengali-speaking Pakistan to our east? It probably will ultimately, yes.
Next one,
And
please.
understand, 70% of the blame is our own.
Sid Dave, thank you so much. Khalistanis, Islamists have an alliance, support each other's causes. Khalistanis hate Hindu. Islamists hate Jews. Hindu-Uz alliance made in HELL is trying to draw some sort of an inference.
Why can't you just write a question as it is? This isn't even a question. Next.
Thank you, Sid, for becoming a YouTube member. Thank you, Naman Kantpal. I traveled today from London to Delhi via Vistara, and I will say Minister of State Chandra was putting it mildly. Why there is such a sharp decline in such a good airline? Is management wanting to run it into the ground?
This decline started long back, Naman. It isn't new. If you remember, the first time I flew Vistara, I was shell-shocked at how good they were. This was like better than a 5-star airline, It was like, do you remember they used to put trolleys every 2 feet at the baggage carousel? Even their service in economy, business to chodi do, it used to be next level. I remember getting served parda biryani in Vistara business class once. The bread ka parda was baked onto the dish into which the biryani came, which was absolute stunner, blow away. Okay. And in economy also, it used to be good. And then I don't know what has happened, but you'll notice there has been a complete decline of quality across the Tata Group. Tata cars do very well in India. They do not do well internationally. Mahindra thrashes them internationally. Tata's service network in India is shit. There is not one single owner of a Tata car that won't tell you the service network is crap. And you'd reckon for having that much sales in India, you would invest in a service network? No. Vistara has become absolute crap. Air India is becoming crap. And I think Rajiv Chandrasekhar was tweeting about Air India. I don't think it was Vistara he was tweeting about, but it's going to be merged into the same airline. This is becoming a problem. It is becoming a total quality management disaster across the entire company. It isn't just Vistara, it's Tata Motors, it's through the thing. You go look at the latest updates of the Nexon and the Harrier and all of that. They finally brought out what everybody else brought out about a year back, boss. So, fayda kya hai? So the state of the conversation has already moved on and you do the upgrade so late. What is the point? They're not reading things. I don't know what is happening with that company. And apparently it's not Chandrasekhar's fault. Huh? It's happening from the top, apparently. The old man is aged and he insists on interfering in company work, and it is what it is.
Next one. Thank you, Sharvin, again. Status of MRFA-2. Would 150 Rafale, 272 Su-30 and 400 Tejas be enough to deter Chinese threat?
I'm not answering so many questions.
No, just the first question, that's all.
I don't know. It seems to be very much a paper plane. कुछ अभी तैयार नहीं हुआ है.
That's the MRFA-2, right?
There's a lot of schematics and drawings, nothing beyond that.
What is it? Medium range fighting aircraft or something?
No, multi-role fighter aircraft too.
Oh, multi-role fighter aircraft. Okay. Next one, please. Dipen Das, thank you so much.
And by the way, sorry, going back to that previous question for a second. That is the second set other than the AMCAs that we're talking about, because those, we don't know what the status is between those and what the follow-on to the curtailed 150 role MRCA is. We don't know if that order for 150, which had then become 120, is going to be put out. Is it shelved in favor of AMCA? We have no idea what the hell is happening, by the way. Nobody in the Air Force also seems to have any idea. Next.
Next one, please. Dipen Das, thank you so much. How did Ataturk change from a Sultan Loyalist Islamic to a liberal Europe-loving secular?
There was no contradiction, Dipendas. You need to go check out the Tanzimat reforms and things like that. The Ottoman Empire itself was moving towards European rules and laws and systems and things. Ataturk just accelerated the change. That was it. But he was moving in the same trajectory that the Ottoman Empire had started moving. And he was not liberal. He was one of the worst kind of genocidaires. He participated in the Armenian genocide. He participated in the Greek genocide. Never forget that. And he was a horrible tyrant. He massacred Kurds in their thousands, millions, God knows what. He would not let them have their own language. He executed all his opponents. Just go read Ataturk's biographies. He was a nasty, horrible dictator. He wasn't liberal by any sense. You know, just wearing Western clothes and telling women to take off their headscarves and dancing with them. He also had several venereal diseases, in case you don't know, because he was he used to sleep around a lot. But see, that doesn't make you a political liberal. Just because you are sexually loose, doesn't make you politically liberal. Next.
Thank you, Rishabh Modi. Can third world countries become less corrupt with the help of digitization?
Yes and no. Yes, because things are a lot more transparent. And no, because in everything that gets more transparent with digitization, you find that people can come up with new ways of bribery. So, for example, things, what's a simple example I can give you? My friend Yusuf, right? Yusuf Unjawala, who runs the Defense Forum of India. He does hardware. He works in the hardware business. His cheapest tap is a plastic tap with golden coating on it to make it look like copper tap. It's the cheapest thing he has. And it's meant for these, village bathrooms and things like that. The GST guy comes and says, I'm going to charge this at luxury because it's a luxury good because it's golden in color. Now, based on digitization, there should be no bribery here. But Yusuf knows that because this is now going to go into GST arbitration, he has to go all the way to Manipal or Mysore, I forget where, 4.5, 5 hours in car to 4.5, 5 hours back, or he has to spend on a hotel room overnight. He has to find somebody to represent him in front of the GST commission. All of this money added, it's just easier to bribe the GST guy and say, no, it isn't. So every opportunity at solving corruption is also an opportunity at increasing corruption, unfortunately.
It's true. Very true. Sid Dave wants to know, have you read the Quran? Is Islam a political system under the guise of religion?
Ask me one question, Sid. You can't keep asking me 10 questions in one question.
Yeah, just that. Yeah.
Yes, I have read it. I couldn't get past. I've not been able to read it in one sitting. I can't read any religious book in one sitting, in Gita, Veda, Bible, anything. I can only read about 5-10 pages. But yeah, I finished all the religious books just reading 5-10 pages and then beja fry ho jata hai, because they make absolutely no sense in a modern setting.
Next one, please. Thank you, Vignesh Prabhu. Sree Iyer missed you in JD Summit, Jaipur. Abhijit, hope you like Mysore Pak.
Yes, I always like Mysore Pak.
Did you have Mysore Pak served there at JD?
Vignesh gave me Anand Mysore Pak.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, right. I think I have met you before, Vignesh. Yes, I remember that. Yeah. Next.
I haven't opened it yet. I'm going to.
Thank you, Jashan Preet. What do you think about Sikhi as a Tamilian? Thanks.
I know lots of Tamil Sikhs. Well, they're
Kuala
actually
Lumpur based or
who
Tamil
live,
Nadu based?
who live in Tamil Nadu and speak fluent Tamil. And I don't see why that's a problem, because lots of, every time I've been for weddings in Bangkok, the travel agencies and everything, for whatever reason, seem to be monopolized by Thai Sikhs. We're actually Punjabi Sikhs, but they speak Thai. They've been born and brought up in Thailand. And they're completely integrated into the local population. They speak fluent Thai. And they get along just fine in Thailand, just like Tamil Sikhs get along fine in Tamil. Well, see, here's the thing. Like Punjabi Sikhs born and brought up in Tamil Nadu get along just fine in Tamil Nadu. So I don't see it as a contradiction at all.
And you can also, there are lots of Sikhs in Kuala Lumpur who speak very good Tamil.
Yeah, they do. Surprise, surprise.
Alekin Soul wants to know, is an alignment with Russia plus China plus rest of East a possibility to make ourselves stronger?
China and Russia are not going to give you the market. What are you going to do? How are you going to get stronger without a market? China isn't opening the market up for you, boss. They're all about producing for other people's markets. If you think you're getting strong on China's market, forget about it. First of all, you have nothing that the Chinese need. Russia is a negligible market. So where are you going to get rich? So how are you going to make yourself stronger? Kuch basis honi chahiye na? You can keep buying their weapons, that's fine, but then your economy will collapse the more and more you go into their thing. West are a manipulative bunch, but they've got the market. What do? You haven't used it. You could have used the last. Look, America built up China. China is where it is today because of access to the EU market and the American market. You didn't do it. Don't blame them for you being morons. You're lazy. You are woke. As a nation, India has always been woke because we never want to take responsibility for our own actions. Oh, the West tried to stop us. China, they couldn't stop, no? What prevented you from getting to where China is today? You yourself. So West are a manipulative bunch, yes, but you think Russia and China aren't? Next
one, please. Thank you, Saswat. How should political parties raise funds fairly?
What is the problem right now? I think electoral bonds is just fine, by the way. I think this question is related to electoral bonds. I think it's perfectly fine because it is transparent. Nobody knows where the money is, who the money has been, who has given you the money. So there's no favor to be rendered. Anything other than electoral bonds should be corruption for in return for favor. So this is perfect.
Yeah. Thank you, Naman Kanpal.
By the way, do you know why people are opposing electoral bonds? Precisely for that reason. Because they can't extort money from people and people are able to give exactly who they want to give money to anonymously. And therein lies the problem. Because Congress, SP, सबका धंधा इसमें बंद हो जाता है. Next, Had Naman Kandapal had pretty good working relationship before Russia and Israel? Yes. Before 7th October. Wouldn't this be a big dent on it? Yes. Same goes for China, but doesn't all of this help China in the long run? For trouble is BB. I'm going to only answer one. So yes, they had a decent working relationship, not a great one. There's always been a lot of tension in that relationship, number one. And look, Israel was China's biggest source of technology. The J-10, everything, a lot of the Chinese modernization you see is because of Israeli technology. Clearly, China has decided to burn its own bridges, and that's perfectly fine. China could have stoked tension without ever getting into this posturing. They could have benefited from it and they could have exacerbated the situation without taking an open position. So I don't understand why they've taken an open position because it doesn't help them out at all. Next.
Yeah, Rajendra Kumar Sahu wants to know, hi Abhijit, how are you remembering so much data?
No idea, sorry.
Chaitanya YSK, thank you so much. Do you think Chinese diplomacy is the best as they successfully buried a hatchet with Australia and still hold good control on the BRI nations?
No. Why do you think they buried the hatchet with Australia? Australia is very reticent about China these days. The sort of upbeat euphoria that existed is no longer there. They essentially view this as a fugu solution. You know what a fugu solution is? Fugu is Japanese puffer fish. When you eat it, you don't know if you're going to live or you're going to die, but they eat it nevertheless because it's considered a delicacy. And hold on, BRI nations, I'm not seeing it. I don't know where you're seeing it, Chaitanya, but I'm not seeing it. Next.
Next one, please. Thank you, 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙪. Do BJP/RSS support LGBT community?
Yes, they do. But remember, don't say BJP RSS because RSS is different from the BJP. The BJP looks at political gain, but yes, the RSS does support the LGBT community.
Next one, please. Thank you, 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙪. How can American Canadian Hindus be convinced to create a space for them in right wing of those countries?
Money. It's that simple, money. Everywhere I go in America or Canada, they're all at each other's throats. The Indians hate each other more than they hate the Pakistani or Sudanese or whatever local communities out there. They're all seeking validation. They want to schmooze, they want the photograph, they're not willing to coordinate, strategize, plan. It's that simple. And most of them, a lot of them, not most, I shouldn't say most, but even some of the brainwashed Democrat Indians are con artists of the highest order. There's nothing you can do about it. Indians and grifting go hand in hand, it seems.
How was your conversation with Ro Khanna?
Fantastic.
Okay. It was private, right? I don't think there was any open talk about it. What you guys talk?
No. What's private stays private.
Okay. Thank you, Vamsi. India is not backing down on Canada. What is your view?
We have backed down. We started giving visas again, Vamsi. We shouldn't have. That's the one thing we really have to control Khalistanis out there, and we caved on that.
Thank you, Sahil Mahajan. Is inaction by Western governments against jihadis because they realize it's too late as Muslims are too big in number and any action may cause a civil war?
It's very simple that they want everywhere that Muslims go, they form a very potent vote bank. They come out, they disrupt, they do all the things that local white people aren't willing to do. They prove politically extremely valuable because they create vote banks, they create shock troops, etc., etc. It's that simple. It's really that simple. Next.
Next one, please. Ishan Sharma wants to know, Abhijit, how can we Delhiites stop this smog on our end rather than depending on this Natwarlal CM who's excellent in making excuses and does nothing and his ministers blame the neighboring states?
Well, Ishan, if you're willing to go to jail, what I'd suggest is get yourself some Agent Orange and get a crop dusting aircraft, and in the harvest season, go spray Agent Orange all over Punjab. It's a defoliant, what America used in Vietnam. You won't have a crop to begin with for it to get burnt at the end. Or else vote the bloody government out. And it still won't work because you might vote the government out, but Punjab won't.
Thank you, 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙪. Dave, I think. If Jews can get Israel based on claim on historical connection, why can't Russians use the same argument and claim Ukraine? And China can claim Taiwan? I think you are conflating two different things.
It's a very long, complex argument. And historical connection, it's actually with Russia, it works the other way around. Kiev and Rus, Ukraine can claim Russia. Russia can't claim Kiev, technically. Because Russia would be then, if you use the Israel thing, then Russia would be the colonizing power. and Ukraine would be the original inhabitant.
Well,
We have
surprise.
which went asked, no?
I think there are some questions, but there are too many. There are like 40 odd. And if you go through, we'll not be able to finish it. So I think we'll have to defer for later. Thank you so much, Abhijit. And I know you got a little bit delayed with traffic. Blame it on smog.
Please call me by my correct name. Stop dead naming me. My name is Rashida ka baap.
Rashida ka baap. I stand corrected. I used to have a friend by the name of Abhijit Iyer-Mitra, who's a spitting image of you.
I don't like to be compared to any infidels, idol worshipping infidels. So please don't insult me. I'm Rashida ka baap.
Thank you so much. And what are you trying to do there? Okay, it's scary. Thank you so much. And
this is my scepter as Rashida ka baap. See, these represent all the skeletons that Rashida creates. And I am being the patriarch of the family, I'm the one that actually manipulates them.
All right. Thank you so much, Abhijit. And viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't get distracted by what he is doing there. Look at me and do do click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.